Roland Martin.
You probably say, come on, give me a break. Move on, guys.
From our Washington, D.C. studios, Roland Martin, good morning.
Good morning, my people. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. Lots of rain here. Hope folks in D.C. are safe as a result. Tom, we were one of the folks who reported on, of course, the case of Terrilynn Monette, the young lady, the teacher in New Orleans who came up missing almost 100 days ago. And there were fundraisers and there were all kind of things nationwide trying to raise attention. Unfortunately, this weekend, we found the sad story of her body being found along in her car in a river in New Orleans. And one of the folks who really picked up the mantle to help find her is Louisiana State Rep Austin Badon, who joins us this morning. Representative, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
So you guys found Terrylynn's car and obviously her decomposed body in a river that had been previously been searched there in New Orleans.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's Bayou St. John that goes right through the middle of New Orleans, right alongside of City Park. And we have searched that area numerous times. On Mother's Day, I was out with the Wildlife and Fisheries on the boat, and we searched that area as well. But the strange thing about it is if you know anything about sonar, you actually have to go into the area where there's something that you're looking for. And what I think was nobody just went far enough into that area where her car was located until Saturday morning.
Tell us what happened in that you pulled out a map along with a Slidell Police Department diver, Mark Michaud, and you guys were looking at various routes, and that's how you came up with, you know what, she might have gone off in this area here. That's
correct. On Friday afternoon, Mark and myself, we met at my home, and we just said, let's start at the last place that she was known to be, and that was over at this bar called Parlay's on the other side of City Park, beautiful park in New Orleans, and she was on the other side. And in order for her to get to her apartment, she had to cross City Park or go around it, and there's really only three different avenues that she could have taken, Harrison Avenue, Fillmore, and Robert E. Lee. There was a picture that was dispersed that showed her turning north off of Harrison onto a street called Marconi. And in our minds, that would have eliminated Harrison because she was going in a direction away from it. And so we were going to focus our efforts on Fillmore and Robert E. Lee, which were the two most likely points of interest that she would have crossed that bayou. But fortunately, we launched the boat on the other side of Harrison, and as the boat was traveling to Fillmore and Robert E. Lee, the sonar was working, and Mark was working the sonar, and he hit a target right at Harrison. And, we tagged it. We went and looked at some other targets, and there are a number of other cars in that bayou that need to be addressed. And, he asked me, he said, are you ready for me to start diving on these targets? And I said, yeah, go for it. And he went over the side, put on his gear. He went over the side, and, he's got some high-tech gear, and he's got some video capabilities. And he went down to that target, and there we saw a black Honda Accord, license plate WUN 494, and he came up and he told me that there are human remains in the car.
No tire tracks?
No tire tracks. I walked that area myself. I looked at it. There were no tire tracks. There were no visible signs of damage to the curb or any structure. There was some work done in that area months ago, but there was nothing visibly that you could see.
So you think she just maybe blacked out and drove right into the bayou?
Well, what I will tell you is it appears that she checked out of her apartment on Friday morning early, probably to go to work. She probably went out, I think, for a dinner with some friends, and then I think she met some other friends, and they went out to this club afterwards. And they were leaving approximately about 5 o'clock on Saturday morning. And, you're pretty tired at that time if you're not used to being up at that time. And maybe she had a few drinks. I don't know. They're doing actually toxicology tests this morning here in New Orleans. It doesn't appear that the car sustained any damage like from a hit and run. It doesn't appear. But the New Orleans Police fatality unit is going to be investigating.
Has there been some question about the kind of attention that this case has has drawn, as well as the amount of time the New Orleans Police Department has put in finding this young woman?
Yeah, naturally, I mean, here we have a 26-year-old young African-American teacher who came to New Orleans to teach our biggest asset, our kids, and she just disappeared, and they really had no leads. And I'm not knocking NOPD at all, because any lead that would come in, they did follow up on it. Chief Surpass, who's the police chief here, he was actually in touch with Terrylynn's mother on a regular basis. So, because of where she was, it just didn't generate any leads. Because of my position as an elected official, I was able, I think God put me in a position where I was able to bring resources like the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries, the state police, even contact the FBI and ask them to get involved. And they did. They really did. Law enforcement stepped up. But, to be honest with you, unless NOPD was on the scene within 30 seconds of when she went into that water, it would not have changed the outcome.
You said there were other cars down there.
Yeah, we've pulled out 24 vehicles out of that bayou, and we had to leave approximately 3 or 4 because they had been there for so long. They were in such dilapidated condition. On our second day, we pulled out a $70,000 or $80,000 Land Rover out of that bayou.
Why? What people are driving?
Yeah, no kidding.
Why are all these cars in the bayou?
Well, Tom, what happens is people steal cars and then they get through with them and they look for a place and dump them, or you have insurance scams and people dump cars. And the bayou is probably at most, maybe in some spots, 18 feet. Some spots are very remote, so, people push cars into the bayou to hide evidence.
Wow. Well, it's certainly a sad result of this case. Terrylynn's family obviously is devastated, but State Representative Badon, first of all, thank you for your help to bring some closure to this family. They now know exactly what happened to Terrilynn Monette.
They could take their baby home.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
And also, Tom, thank all the people, all our listeners who were tweeting, who were telling people to look for their sister. They played a role, too.
Okay.